Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into a single football match, Paris Saint-Germain versus Inter. But we're doing it with a bit of a twist.
Right, we're looking only at the source material you've shared with us.
Yeah.
So that's what, the minute-by-minute commentary feed and the player lists.
Exactly. And the mission today is to navigate all this, incredibly detailed play-by-play stuff, pull out the key moments, the important stats, maybe some surprising things that jump out.
And really understand how the game unfolded based just on that source material, like building the picture from the ground up, from the raw data.
Yeah, think of it like experiencing the match through a totally different kind of highlights reel. Not just the quick goals, but the whole flow, every recorded action, kickoff to the final whistle.
And the source gives us loads, right? We've got the rosters, the subs, yellow cards.
Reason details like the pitch condition, fantastic apparently, and the floodlights being on really sets the scene.
It's all about seeing how those individual moments, those little details in the commentary, build a bigger story. So let's jump in. Where does the source start us off?
Okay, so setting the stage. The source says the match begins, Paris Saint-Germain kicks off, and immediately, right away, the commentary notes something pretty significant.
What's that?
PSG are in control of the ball. And it's not just a feeling. The source gives us actual figures. Around the 5-minute mark, it's something like 77% possession for PSG to Inter's 23%.
Wow. Okay, so that early dominance, that's the first big thing jumping out from the source. It tells you PSG came out with a very clear plan.
Right. Control the tempo, own the ball from minute one. They didn't wait around.
Establish that foothold instantly. That's a strong statement early on.
And you see that control turning into, actual threat pretty quickly, according to the commentary. We see early attempts mentioned, needing saves.
Like who?
Around the 10th, 11th minute marks, the source specifically mentions shots from Desire Du and Ousmane Dembélé. Both needed saving by Jan Sommer in the Inter goal.
Okay, so Sommer tested early doors. And even those saved shots, they show PSG are, probing, asking questions of that Inter defense. They're setting the tone.
And that pressure, it pays off pretty quickly, actually. At the 12-minute mark, the source commentary just explodes. Goal.
Goal for PSG.
Yes. Achraf Hakimi scores for Paris Saint-Germain, right foot, and the commentary calls it a wonderful team goal.
So not just a solo effort. What details does the source give on the buildup?
It breaks it down nicely. Desire Du gets the assist, and crucially, Vitinha made the key pass just before that.
See, that key pass detail from Vitinha, that's fascinating, isn't it? The source giving us that extra layer.
Yeah.
It shows it was constructed, properly built up.
Yeah, Vitinha's pass unlocked it, Du sets it up, and Hakimi finishes from what the source calls an easy position.
That phrase, easy position, tells you everything. PSG must have really carved Inter open there.
And PSG, they didn't just sit back after that, did they? The source indicates they kept pushing, kept creating.
Right, building on that momentum. What happens next?
Around the 20-minute mark, the source says Paris Saint-Germain start to counterattack. And again, Goal, another one, already.
Yep. Desire Du gets this one, right foot again, but the source does note it took a deflection.
Okay. A touch of luck, maybe, but you've got to be in the position. Who set that one up?
Ousmane Dembélé provided the assist this time, and the source credits Kvaratskhelia with the key pass.
Kvaratskhelia, Dembélé, Du. Interesting. So Du gets his goal, involved in both now. And again, that combination play is highlighted by the source Dembélé assisting Kvaratskhelia with the key pass beforehand.
Yeah, it suggests a pattern, doesn't it? Those players linking up effectively.
And crucially, what about possession during this period? Does the source mention it?
It does. It says possession holds steady for PSG, still got that significant advantage, somewhere between 57 and 63% through this part of the first half.
So they're controlling the ball and being clinical. That's a powerful combination.
Now, it wasn't completely one-sided. The source does show Inter trying to, get back into it. Yeah, you'd expect them to react.
Hell, the commentary mentions corners being swung in by Hakan Çalhanoğlu.
Okay, Çalhanoğlu on set pieces, that's standard for Inter. That's often their way back into games, those dead ball situations.
And the source also makes a point of mentioning key defensive actions at both ends. Specific clearances, tackles.
Like, any names mentioned?
Yeah, it highlights Willian Pacho for PSG making defensive plays and Denzel Dumfries for Inter doing the same.
Right, so individual battles still being fought hard, even with PSG dominating possession. Pacho, Dumfries, those guys trying to break things up.
The source also notes Inter did have a couple of chances, headers specifically, from Marcus Thuram and Francesco Acerbi.
Why?
But they went wide or were saved. So getting into decent positions sometimes, maybe from those crosses or set pieces, but the finishing. Well, according to the commentary, it wasn't quite there.
Okay, so as we approach halftime, anything else stand out in the source?
There's a brief stop and play noted. Around the 38th minute, Nuno Mendes for PSG goes down injured.
Okay. Was it
Yeah.
serious?
Seems not. The source quickly adds he was able to come back on shortly after. So, a potential blow averted for PSG there.
Good for them, and then halftime.
Then the ref blows the whistle. 45 minutes plus 3 of added time played.
And what's the source's verdict on that first half? Any summary in the commentary?
Yep, pretty clear cut. The commentary explicitly states Paris Saint-Germain has been the better team in this half. No ambiguity there.
And the possession stats back that up.
Completely. Source gives final first half figures as PSG 61%, Inter 39%. The numbers really echo the commentary's assessment. PSG in control. All right, so second half gets underway according to the source. And initially we see PSG picking up where they left off, almost.
Attempts on goal?
Yeah, the source mentions Kvaratskhelia having a shot, but it goes wide. But then the pace seems to change a bit.
How so?
More fouls start appearing in the commentary feed. It gets a bit scrappier, maybe.
Like what? Any specific examples?
The source highlights Willian Pacho tripping Marcus Thuram and Federico DiMarco tripping Achraf Hakimi. Little things, but maybe suggesting the intensity is ramping up.
Or perhaps a bit of frustration creeping in, especially from Inter's side, leading to more challenges. And this seems to be the point where things get really broken up, tactically and disciplinary-wise, based on the source.
Yeah, loads happens around the mid part of the second half. Around 54 minutes, Inter make a couple of subs together.
Who comes on?
Federico DiMarco is replaced by Nicolas Zalewski, and Benjamin Pavard comes off for Jan-Orel Bisek, the coach trying to change something. But then, almost straight away, look what the source notes at 56 minutes. Nicolas Zalewski, the guy who just came on, gets a yellow card. Reckless foul on Fabian Ruiz, apparently.
Oh, dear. Instant impact, but not the kind you want. A yellow, just minutes after coming on. Maybe a bit too eager.
Could be. And then it gets worse for Inter's subs. Play stops again shortly after because Jan-Orel Bisek.
The other substitute.
Yeah, he gets injured and has to go off. He's replaced by Matteo Darmian around the 62-minute mark.
Wow, that's really unlucky. 2 subs brought on, 1 gets booked immediately, the other gets injured. Disruptive.
Very. And Inter make another change around then, too. Henrik Mkhitaryan off, Carlos Augusto on. They're really shuffling the pack.
And you can almost feel the frustration boiling over, can't you? Does the source capture that?
It does. Around the 58-minute mark, the referee actually shows the Inter coach, Simone Inzaghi, a yellow card.
For dissent.
Yep, for dissent. That card for the coach, it's such a telling detail in the source data, isn't it? Really shows the pressure cooker atmosphere on the Inter bench.
And while Inter are dealing with all that disruption, what's happening with PSG?
Well, they're capitalizing.
Right.
Around the 63-minute mark, the source flags up another potentially dangerous attack building for Paris Saint-Germain. Gooooaal. It's Desire Due again. His second goal of the match, right foot.
Is Due having a blinder? Who set this one up, according to the source?
Same combination, almost. Vitinha gets the assist this time, and Ousmane Dembélé made the key pass.
Incredible. Vitinha, Dembélé. They are just everywhere in this source feed when PSG score. That connection is clearly the difference maker today.
And Due, well, he gets a bit carried away. The source notes he gets a yellow card at 65 minutes for taking his shirt off celebrating. Pure emotion captured there.
You can understand it. And the commentary, what does it say about him?
It specifically praises his outstanding game right after that goal.
Fitting. Does he stay on?
No, he's actually subbed off right after. Around the 66th minute, Bradley Barcola comes on. Probably got a great reception leaving the pitch.
A performance certainly worthy of it, based on these details.
Yeah.
But PSG weren't done scoring, were they?
Not yet. Around 73 minutes, another Gooooaal.
Goodness me. Who now?
Kvaratskhelia gets on the score sheet. Left foot this time.
Yeah, and the assist. Key pass.
Ousmane Dembélé gets another assist, his second, according to the source. And Nuno Mendes, remember him from the first half injury scare? He made the key pass.
Dembélé again. Provider supreme today based on this data. And Mendes, recovered and still contributing creatively, shows good resilience.
Okay, so the game's getting into the later stages now. PSG well ahead. Does Inter manage any kind of late flurry, according to the source?
They try. The source mentions a dangerous attack around 75 minutes. It leads to a Marcus Thuram shot.
On target?
On target, yes. But the source notes, Gianluigi Donnarumma saves it. Important save, keeps the margin comfortable.
Right. Any more changes?
Yeah, substitutions continue. Nuno Mendes eventually does come off, replaced by Lucas Hernandez for PSG. And then there's a really interesting line in the commentary around 83 minutes.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
It says, Inter has resigned and is just waiting for the referee to finish the match.
Wow. That's blunt, but very telling from the source commentary. It tells you everything about the perceived mood and state of the game by that point.
Absolutely. And perhaps reflecting that or just managing the game, PSG make a bunch more subs. Wow, Neves, Fabian Ruiz, Kvaratskhelia all come off.
Placed by Warren Zaire-Emery, Sonny Mayulu, and Goncalo Ramos. Come on. Fresh legs to see it out.
And one of those subs makes an immediate mark, doesn't he?
He does. The source flags it up. 86th minute. Gooooaal. Sonny Mayulu scores. Left foot.
A goal for the substitute. Who assisted?
Bradley Barcola, another substitute, gets the assist. But here's a really cool detail the source adds.
Go on.
It specifically says, Sonny Mayulu made the key pass for the goal.
Wait, Mayulu made the key pass for his own goal as part of his build-up.
That's what the source says. Finished off by the assist from Barcola. Substitute sets up substitute, with the score revolved earlier in the move. Fantastic detail.
So almost done then. Anything in the dying minutes?
Just about. Achraf Hakimi gets a yellow card right around the 90-minute mark. The source commentary calls it a tactical foul on Alessandro Bastoni.
Ah, the classic professional foul. Just stopping any potential late break, closing the game down.
Exactly. And even then, the source indicates PSG are still trying to, create something, not just sitting back. Speaks to their attitude. And then, bang on, 90+1 minutes, the referee blows the final whistle. Game over.
And the final word from the source commentary.
It wraps it up neatly. Paris Saint-Germain with a deserved victory after a fine display.
A clear conclusion, and one that feels absolutely spot on based on everything we've pulled from the minute-by-minute source data and the final possession.
Source confirms the story. Paris Saint-Germain, 59%, Inter, 41%. That control we saw from the very first minute carried right through.
So there you have it. We've walked through this incredibly detailed source, this minute-by-minute account, and really pieced together the narrative of this PSG versus Inter game.
Yeah, we saw how PSG grabbed that early control through possession, how key players and combinations, Dembélé, Du, Vitinha, Kvaratskhelia were consistently involved in the goals according to the source.
And how things like the timing of subs, the yellow cards, even that commentator's line about Inter resigning, it all paints this really vivid picture of a dominant, deserved PSG win.
What's really powerful, I think, is how going down to that level of detail, knowing the assist, knowing the key pass, tracking individual defensive actions, the cards, it builds such a richer understanding compared to just seeing the 5-0 scoreline or whatever it was.
Absolutely. You trace the how and the why. The result came about moment by moment within the source itself. It connects the dots.
And if you think bigger picture, it really highlights how a game's story isn't just the big headline moments. It's built up from all these smaller actions the source captures. A tackle won here, a specific pass there. They're all the building blocks.
Which leaves a really interesting question for you, the listener, to think about. How does focusing on these granular details, these specific moments captured in a source like this, change your understanding of a match or maybe any complex event, compared to just relying on summaries or basic stats?
Yeah, what other insights might be hiding in plain sight within that kind of detailed moment-by-moment data, something to mull over?